is Chi-Fi the future? I think it's part of the future because I think Chi-Fi is going to bring more people into the hobby. The problem I get with the problem I have with Chi-Fi is once you get to a certain level, and I think it starts to happen around the Denafreps level. So I think around $750 to $1,000. Like once you start to get to that level, I'm less inclined inclined to recommend Chinese companies. Denafreps is a little bit different because they do have U.S. support and they have some history there. But there's some newer companies that are fairly expensive pieces of equipment, and I think when you compare them to similar or like pieces of equipment, yes, there's still a great value there. I think Chi-Fi is the future only for getting more people into the hobby. So that's why I think Chi-Fi is the future. But I think that stops at a certain price point because once you get up to a certain price point, if I'm making the decision with my money, I'm not buying $1,000 Chi-Fi amp. Now, I do have patrons that have a great setup. Todd T, he loves Denafrips, and I think Denafrips again is a bit of an outlier. But there is a new company out there. The name escapes me right now. I can't remember exactly who it is, but I think it's Live, Laiv. And I know John Darko's been talking about him, and some other folks have been talking about him. So like I think on paper that sounds great, but if you don't have US support, if you don't have a place to get stuff fixed, if you don't have the customer support, I think is key. And if Chinese companies, if the higher end Chinese companies can get some type of US, Canadian stuff in the UK, stuff, in Europe, if they can get that support, like local support somehow, or through a dealer network, then I think it can work. I think it can. But then if you have a dealer, like who is that impacting? Because a dealer is going to have a list of products, a list of brands that they deal with. So if they bring in something like a Live or Denafreps or something like that, how does that affect the other brands that may be more expensive? Anyway, why boycott Chi-Fi? Someone probably doesn't like the Chinese stuff. And let's just take politics out of this because, come on, are we really going to have this conversation?